Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. The RBI Grade B Phase 1 2024 mark sheets are out. If you have not seen your mark sheet yet, you can access your scorecards through the link in the description. You are required to give your roll number and date of birth to access your scorecard. So I have seen my scorecard. I have seen scorecard of few other candidates. I have been in discussions with those who cleared phase 1 quite comfortably last year but could not clear this year. So one word, if I would define whatever I am seeing and observing, it would be shocking. Basically shocking and appalling for me what I'm seeing this year, the kind of normalization what has happened across two shifts. I have also uh, been benefited because of normalization to a certain extent, not to a certain extent, in fact, to a huge extent. And I have also lost marks in certain sections due to normalization, but the extent of normalization, what has happened, I do not expect it to be this huge, but what is done is done. So anyway, we cannot do much about it, but this is just an observation from my end that in this examination you need to perform well across all the sections, at least to ensure that you are clearing all the sections with some comfort and some margin to be on the safer side. If you see the cutoff this year, it is 67.25 for general category. I expected it to be somewhere around 65 to 70, and it has fallen in that range only, luckily, this time. Uh, Continuing the trend of what has been happening in the past 3 years, the cutoff for EWS is exactly the same as general, and OBC is slightly low. But what is more interesting for me is that the sectional cutoff, they have increased it a lot. This is like 25% this time for general category, which is I think very high, pretty high, and especially considering, especially for this section QUANT, where people were not able to attempt even 3 or 4 questions properly in shift one. Keeping cutoff of that high is itself an indicator that there is huge normalization, and the quant section, especially shift one people, they have gained mostly in this section. Similarly for GA also, I'll tell that this is, I think it used to be 18, 16, something of that sort, but this year it is 20. So it's again very high, and many of the candidates have lost or have been eliminated because of low scores in GA sections, although their scores in QRE are relatively really well. Moving ahead, if I take you to my mark sheet, what I have scored this year. So my score in general awareness is 26.75. Now, I'll be very honest, this is at least 10 marks less than what I expected to obtain, a result of normalization, I'm pretty sure. Because I also shared 67 questions list, what I could found through my research, and out of these 67, 40 were definitely correct, and in the remaining 13, if I even go by conservative estimate, I expected at least 5 to be correct. So under usual circumstances, I was scoring somewhere around 35. I also stated that in my previous video, but my score is 26.75. So clearly 9 to 10 marks I have lost in GA because of normalization. Now this clearly establishes that shift 1 GA was easy and shift 2 GA was tough, and hence shift 1 fellows have lost marks in GA. And I think this would have impacted many of those candidates who would have been scoring around 25 or say 24 in GA in shift 1, and in normalization they would have lost marks and they would have been eliminated because the sectional cutoff is very high in GA, which is 20 marks this year. So this is one thing that is noteworthy here. Coming to the second section, English. Now this is something unbelievable. I do not think my English is that impeccable that I'll do only one wrong question in the flow, because I usually solve English in a flow except the comprehension part and rearrangement part. And this is surprising even for me, because not even in one mock test I have scored this much marks. So I am not sure whether they have done normalization in English, but I don't know. I mean, it seems that I have attempted all the questions and only one question is wrong. So it seems possible, but again, I'm not very confident that I actually attempted like 29 correct out of 30. Coming to the next section, which is quant section. This is something where luck has favored me heavily, or I should say normalization has favored me heavily, because I told you I was scoring 1.5 marks, only two correct questions, four attempts. But here I have straight away gained, I think, 7.25 marks because of normalization. So clearly this has been a game changer for me, and I am writing phase 2 only because of this normalization. Another section is reasoning. Here also I would say I think I have been benefited because of normalization, because I attempted 19 questions, so I cannot score this score without normalization. I was expecting, based on my usual accuracy, to score 13, 14, 15, something of that sort in reasoning. So I think here at least plus 3 marks I have gained in reasoning. So overall, I think I have lost 10 here, I have gained 7.25 here, I have gained 3 here. So overall, I think maybe I gained plus 1 marks in overall because of normalization. So this score is something which I think is clearly, I expected to score around 75, and because of quant 7 marks gain in quants, it has gone to 82. So this is all about my marks sheet. I think a lot of you have lost because of sectional cutoff, and I feel for you. And I think those of you who will be attempting again next year, they need to give special focus to that particular section. And now that you know what is your strong point, what is your weak point, how is the feel of this examination, especially phase 1, because it is very stressful, and most of the candidates, they panic and mark wrong answers because of the stress and pressure in the examination hall, and it is the most tricky part of phase 1. So most of you have experienced this now, and this will be definitely a good learning for you in future, which you can definitely leverage next year or in your next attempt. Thank you. I hope those who have been preparing for phase 2, the preparation is well on track. I will be sharing some free mock tests. I think I have 2 to 3 mock tests that you can give for phase 2. It is mainly objective mock test, and even in the objective mock test, you need to focus more on in terms of scoring aspect, you need to focus more on the management questions. You must not be marking them wrong, because those are low hanging fruits, and you can push your scores very high if you are scoring really well in the management part. ESI and FM are really, like, you cannot compare them to management section scores, because it is just like to a certain extent like GEO phase 1, where you are not sure, you are getting good in mock, in the exam you will score low, or the reverse can happen. Something similar is with ESI and FM mocks also. But the good thing is, in ESI and FM they are paragraph based, so you have certainty that they'll either ask from reports, or they'll either ask from uh, you know circulars, or some flagship government schemes. So you have a limited area where you need to focus on, and you can concentrate your preparation accordingly. Thank you. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on Telegram. You can email me here, so I can help you with some of your doubts. And all the best. Keep preparing.